When you think about gamers and beauty gurus, your first thought a few years ago might have been something like this and this. However, nowadays, things have changed. As a result, you might also picture something like this. Beauty gurus are influencers with a large following in platforms such as Instagram or YouTube. These people that act as the authorities of the makeup and cosmetic industry by trying and promoting new products, advertising different brands and getting revenue from sponsorships. Gamers have many followers in platforms like Instagram or YouTube as well. They dedicate most of their time towards playing video games or making reviews about them. When they reach a certain amount of followers or subscribers, they can earn income and get sponsorships. In the last few years, lots of male beauty gurus and female gamers have gained quite a huge following. The typical ideas considering that makeup is for women and video games for men have faded a fair amount in the online community due to the influence these people have. Despite all of this, we're not fully certain if this trend has only been built online or if it also changed the way of thinking of various age groups in real life. This might be caused by several reasons. First of all, let's talk about social change. Social change implies the concept in which social systems consist of connected subsystems, and when there are adjustments in this, a domino effect is generated, creating innovation in the larger systems. Topics like gender roles are of much importance and controversy. The influencers we're dealing with are breaking these established roles. Gender roles are tendencies or behavior learned by a person appropriate to their gender. This appropriateness is determined by the prevailing cultural norms. Families are also an important factor when building these roles. They install them by, in some cases, punishing or awarding certain behaviors, showing how, in some cases, parents inculcate gender ideas to their children. They have a huge influence on their children, and their ideas may be transmitted more effectively than what they are aware of. Taking all of these facts into account, we came up with the following research question. How differently do men and women in social media getting engaged in activities not matching their gender create an impact on different age groups from VDS? In order to answer it, we decided to collect information through the gathering of qualitative and quantitative data, with questionnaires and focus group or semi-structured interviews. For the questionnaires, we went to 3 different forms, first A, first B, and third B, getting a total of 57 completed surveys. The questions we asked were mostly about gender roles in social media. They took no longer than 5 minutes to complete and were anonymous. We will go over some of the results we got from both men and women in percentages. Do you think men can wear makeup? Do you think women can play video games? Do you follow any beauty gurus? Do you follow any gamers? When then asked if they have ever watched content from female gamers, and men mostly said they sometimes did, while girls answered they didn't watch any gamers. As for male beauty gurus, none of the guys consume their content, and girls say they sometimes did. The respondents who believe men shouldn't wear makeup justified their choice as follows. All the people against girls playing video games defended themselves by saying they were meant for men. On the other hand, we were able to complete 2 focus groups, one with 5 second B students and another one with 5 third B ones. They lasted about 20 minutes each. The discussion was long and the kids exchanged ideas and beliefs. We showed this picture of James Charles in the process as well, to ask for opinions. Both groups have similar opinions toward the questions asked. We did not have any kind of trouble and no major difficulties arise during the interviews. However, we found some peculiarities and worth mentioning facts which appear throughout the conversation. We'll delve into this during the data analysis. For the most part, when a boy answered, the others agreed with what he said, without adding much. However, most girls had a varied opinion range, as they remained more participant or replying. As it perfectly seen, the majority in both genders agree with the question, but males had a higher percentage of denial. Without considering the gender, the small percentage that responded no agree that makeup in men counteracts the male role that is established in the society, as if the makeup minimized the masculinity. Moving on, within this answer, there is an insignificant percentage of denial towards it. This might mean that within society there is a more progressive answer, referred to women playing video games when compared to guys wearing makeup. All males deny knowing or following a beauty guru, while more than half of women answer that they do. We can identify that the boys responding are not interested in looking for this kind of social media stars, because they may attend against the conventional idea of masculinity within society. Also, women could be into beauty gurus because they have no problem wearing cosmetics, since it isn't wrong in the eyes of our community. Families or other kinds of media teaching young people what is acceptable for each gender could have formed this convention. Moreover, we can see that in this answer the gamers are followed by both genders, but mainly in the male public. Taking this into account, we can suppose that because of each family decision to buy sources of entertainment, men are more drawn to video games, so they have more interest in games than women do. When participants were asked about their perspective and thoughts, a 30% answered from both genders that influencers have changed their mind about certain topics. So, we make the conclusion that some change their opinion because of the massification of social media and the new power of these digital stars. Furthermore, the percentage of people that know some men who wear makeup is quite small. However, it shows hints of social change, as some years before, it was almost impossible for most people to accept guys who wore makeup. Even if they don't know someone, the majority said they would support anyone who did. This twist in people's mentality evidences the way these behaviors are massively approved nowadays. The same happens with women playing video games, with the difference that there are a slight proportion in both genders which don't know any women that play video games. Again, this is a clear example of the society changing, as before the video games were considered a source of entertainment just for guys. First of all, every student accepted male beauty gurus and the fact that men can wear makeup. Nevertheless, some boys felt unease while delivering the reason, which was evident as they chuckled while answering. This may be an unconscious consequences of the gender roles, which were taught to them during childhood, and how makeup is a girlish activity. This was further seen when we showed James' picture. They found it a little bit shocking because they weren't used to seeing guys like him in their day-to-day lives. They also laughed at it, and when we asked why, they replied it was nothing. This proves how even if there is acceptance in theory, like we see with the questionnaires, maybe in practice it is not the same because society hasn't fully established this as something usual. Something that caught our attention was that when a boy from second, after being asked what he thought about Carrefour controversial ad, said that it was an accident which had nothing to do with him nor with society. He stated that it was a marketing move which went wrong. Most of the others disagreed and said it was a move that went against all society was promoting in the last years. We asked what this was, and they answered that most people are fighting to believe the gap between men and women, and that this advertisement was bringing all the effort down. The fact that they believe this is a clear evidence that young people are getting involved in these topics to promote social change in their community. Finally, a girl said that she practiced taekwondo. This was not an easy goal for her, since at first she was not allowed to do so because her parents continuously said it was a man's sport. In the end, she convinced them and finally broke the stereotype imposed to her. A boy also told us that when he was young, his parents told him that boys were supposed to play football and girls should dance. He explained that he carried this opinion for a long time until he split from it. This shows how big of an impact parents inculcating gender roles can have on their kids. All in all, social change in the young people may influence, as the definition says, a change in larger subsystems of society. First, a small group of influencers states their opinion or liked activities, and because of their large following, these are spread through a mostly young audience. After that, their way of thinking shifts, and they continue to share their perspective with others that may belong to larger subsystems. In this way, people get to acknowledge the existence of people who defy their conventional thoughts and separate from their family teachings. The results we obtain in most of our research show a majority of acceptance towards hobbies like makeup or gaming becoming degendered, even if parents had taught them otherwise. Like this, we evidence the change being spread around our society and massified through platforms like social media.